Yep. Inside, I want to kill myself. We are on an 0-7 run over the last 2 days. After tonight was just complete bullshit. So that's how I'm going to start off this show. Horrible Sunday, 1-5. I don't even know what to tell you about that. I just don't want to do this anymore. I have never seen anything like this, man. With the slump continuing, 2 straight losses, not a good day at all. 0-4. I just have not had a good season, man. What can this slump that I'm on? The slump continues. I've reached a new peak, actually. I'm gonna burn my Bruins hat, man. I don't know what is going on with the Bruins. March 8th, is that what it is? I don't even know. It's March 9th, I think. Who even knows, man? I don't know what day it is anymore. I don't even know what day it is anymore, man. Back with you after the worst day that I could possibly have. Back with you, as I always am. Until I die, at least. 0-2 yesterday, and yesterday did not go well for me. 0-5. The worst month that I've ever had in my 18 years doing this. I don't know what to even tell you about this anymore. Broke the slump yesterday as the slump discontinues. The slump continues. Somebody fucking kill me, please. I don't even know what I should do at this point other than potentially end it all. What's up, everybody? It's Toad back with you. Bettor Off Dead Monday. Monday, October 13th. The Monday morning quarterback session. Oh, is my mic not working? Oh, no, it is working. I was making sure my audio was working there. It seemed like it wasn't working for a minute. Jeffrey, what's up? Thanks for coming back. Thanks for hanging out. Losing day yesterday on the show. 2-2 in the NFL. Started out nice. We got the easy cover on the Jets in the probably the worst football game that was ever played in the London game. 13-11 final with Denver winning that game. The Jets had negative 10 yards of passing offense, and they almost were able to win the game. That's how bad that game was. That would have been something historic. It probably was historic in some way as far as how bad that game was. But part of the handicap was this is going to be an ugly, low-scoring game, so the points mean more. So Jets still didn't get the win. They actually recovered a fumble, though. I called it. I said that. I was like, there's going to be, I said that the last couple of weeks, but it was like at some point they have to recover a fumble or something. Like they can't have no takeaways for the first 6 weeks. I mean, that's just ridiculous. Having no takeaways in the first 5 weeks, it only happened maybe once ever, and it hadn't happened since the 1930s. It's crazy. And then the Arizona Cardinals got us a cover as well, and my Indianapolis Colts still won the game, so all was good there, except for the fact that if the Colts had lost, that would have knocked out some more people from Survivor, which I survived. I had the Pittsburgh Steelers in Survivor, even though I went against them with one of my bets. Sometimes you do that, man. It's all strategy. It's like game theory. Like, I didn't want to burn the Packers yet in Survivor, so it was all like, you got to just game theory and figure out, like, what's the best mix between, like, not a ton of people are picking this team. This team still has a good chance to win the game outright, and they don't have a ton of future value, and they're probably like maybe even an overrated team right now. But I'm still pissed because I could have gone Saints-Raiders the last 2 weeks. And instead, I went Colts-Steelers. Saints-Raiders, using those two teams and still surviving would have been like perfect. Like you'd have such a good setup moving forward in Survivor, and I unfortunately did not do that. I don't have the balls, I guess. But yeah, the Indianapolis Colts, Arizona, they covered. Fairly high-scoring game, kind of ridiculous. Arizona was basically in that game the entire way, lost by 4. And then and they were winning the game, I think, at a couple of different points. And then we lost the other two. The Cleveland Browns just couldn't get anything going offensively, man. Aaron Rodgers had some vintage Rodgers plays in that game, too. He still looks pretty good, man. I mean, it wasn't just, like, the reason why the Jets sucked was not Aaron Rodgers. I mean, they're 0-6 right now with essentially the same team but with a different quarterback. So, like, even though they should be better than that, but still, like, it's not Rodgers. Rodgers looking good, although I think the Steelers are going to regress. I don't think they're as good as they look. But, yeah, so we lost that one. And then brutal loss on the other one, really, the New Orleans Saints. I mean, they had a 16-7 16-14 lead in the third quarter, and then they never scored again, and they lost by 9. So for the whole time, they're just hanging around, and you're just like, please just score a touchdown, and then you'll cover in the back door you'll get in the back door for me there. But no, it didn't happen. Definitely chances for New Orleans to cover that. Drake May had a pretty good game again, looked pretty good again from what I saw, but Patriots just generally didn't have the greatest game. It was one of those games that was just right on the edge, like which way is this going to go? And we came up short on that one with the Saints. We'll move on to today. I'm going to have 3 plays today. I'm going to have 1 in baseball, 2 in hockey. The majority of the hockey teams are in action tonight. And then we do have Monday Night Football. I'm not going to give out a play on those 2 games, but we have a stupid Monday night, not even a doubleheader. But, I mean, I don't want to get into how much I hate that again. It makes the Monday nights less special when you have multiple Monday night games going on. Like, you don't get prime time all to yourself. It's really, really fucking stupid. Okay. And NBA, just want to make sure, we're still in preseason with the NBA. Yeah, so NBA next Tuesday, NBA will begin. All right, Major League Baseball. Both championship series are happening here. As we had Game 1 of the ALCS was actually last night, and Seattle, despite looking like they were maybe in not a good rest spot after playing 15 innings 2 nights prior, they got the win anyway. Toronto, I believe, scored a run in the first inning off of Bryce Miller and then never scored again. Miller, good performance from him in that game. Gossman wasn't too bad either, but Miller outperformed him a little bit, and then Seattle wound up winning the game. Toronto used more of their bullpen, too, so the setup for Toronto is not exactly good in this game, I wouldn't say. There's day hockey. Oh, yeah, because it's Columbus Day, so there's afternoon hockey, yeah. What's up? Restore Christendom, what's up? Amazing win by Seattle. Yeah, I mean, I wish I had a play on Seattle. I mean, that was close to being a play for me because I did think the spot was pretty bad for Jacksonville. So I gave out Seattle as one of my stronger leans on the show. But yeah, I mean, I wish it was there. Like, I wish it was on my card. Scherzer is available. I don't know if they want to go with that. I mean, he has a lot of experience. I believe he's won a World Series before, too, but I don't know, man. I mean, it's just, he's so old now. I think Toronto's going to try to not use him here, but Toronto is going to have to use some of their bullpen. They used up a lot of their bullpen yesterday. J-Main, what's up, man? Seattle used a decent amount of their bullpen, too, just because they used some of their high-leverage relief arms last night because it was a save situation last night, although Toronto used more of their arms. Seattle generally does have the better bullpen. Toronto is better at home, though. So something I forgot to kind of explicitly say, Seattle was actually bad on the road this year, 39-42 on the road. Toronto was 54-27 at home. And if Toronto falls down 2-0 at home, they're not going to win the series, man. I mean, I know it's possible, obviously. In baseball's a closer sport, so it's more likely that you're able to overcome the 0-2 deficit than in other sports. But it's going to be a bad situation if they fall behind 0-2, obviously, at home. What are we going to do with this game? Well, let's just go to it now, man. Whatever. I'll give out one of my best bets right now. We're going to go with Toronto on the money line in the first 5 innings at minus 132. The price is actually about the same on Toronto, full game and first 5. I think because, well, I don't know why. Because you think that Toronto's bullpen being overworked and not being the better bullpen would give you more of a, would give you a cheaper price on Toronto full game, but it isn't really. We're going to go with Toronto here. Looking at the starting pitching, only in the first 5, though, because I don't trust their bullpen. Logan Gilbert is pitching for the Mariners, and I don't love the way this sets up for the Mariners, to be honest. Gilbert definitely had a good season, 3.44 ERA, 1.03 whip. By the way, he looks way better with the goatee that he has right now. He looks like he should be pitching in the 70s and chewing tobacco or something. So if you saw him pitch the other night, he was not as good on the road, though. 4.74 road ERA, so not good home road splits for him. Another issue that I would have is that he pitched the other night. He pitched 3 days ago in relief. That was the extra innings game in Game 5. He had 2 scoreless innings against Detroit there. He pitched pretty well, but I mean, he did put too many guys on base, though. So 3 hits, 1 walk, in 2 innings isn't exactly great, but didn't allow a run, 2 strikeouts. But that's going to, like, put him off schedule a little bit. So it's like he can't possibly be giving you a full start here, right? Because he went 34 pitches 3 days ago. So I don't think we're going to see him give you a full start here. It's kind of insane that he's the listed starter in this game. It seems like the Mariners might still be without Wu, too. So this is a little bit of a sketchy situation here, man. And then to make it even worse, Gilbert against Toronto has bad numbers in 94 career bats. 21-5 strikeout walk ratio is all right. 886 OPS allowed, though, and 309 batting average allowed. Those are not good numbers. So Toronto has been able to hit him pretty well. So it looks like the odds are kind of stacked against Toronto and against Seattle in this game, especially in the early going, I would say. So I don't like it. You might see Gilbert be out of the game a few innings in, which, yeah, it means Seattle might bring in some decent bullpen arms there, but I think Gilbert's going to get outpitched by Trey Savage, and I know Savage had a huge emotional outing the last time out. Everybody kind of knows who he is now because he no-hit the Yankees through 5 1/3 in the last series, had 11 strikeouts, which was a Blue Jay, I believe it was a Blue Jay postseason record, 11 strikeouts, which, I mean, the fact that guys used to pitch way longer into the game kind of seems weird that 11 would have been a new record, but I guess it is. Savage, pretty good on the season, 3.21 ERA, although 1.43 whip wasn't very good, but we know he is good. I mean, he has this crazy over-the-top delivery, has one of, like, the highest arm angles in all of baseball. Like, I think his release point is like 7 feet above the mound, which is crazy. And he just has some disgusting pitches. Like, his splitter is just absolutely nasty. And I think he has a really nasty slider too, along with a hard fastball. 22, this guy's already doing it, man. He had a 0 ERA at home as well, which continued into the playoffs. But my one issue would be that was an emotional game, man. I mean, his parents were there. His 4th Major League start ever was a playoff game, and he set the Blue Jays playoff record. Everything was awesome about it. Everything is awesome. Everything is cool when you're part of his team. Yeah, so could be a little bit of an emotional letdown from him here, but I don't know, man, because we're in the ALCS, and I think this guy is good. So, I mean, we don't need him to be as good as he was in that game to get us this Toronto first 5-inning play here. We just need Toronto to have their bats do something for us against Gilbert, which I think is certainly possible. And we just need Savage to outpitch Gilbert plus whatever is coming in after him. And I think it can happen. And part of my handicap, I was on that Savage game, if you were there for my show that day. I gave it a play on the Blue Jays, full game in that one. Probably should have gone first 5 innings, but they still hung on and won the game 13-7. Even though Toronto's bullpen was really bad in that game behind Savage. Mariners have never seen him before, so that's another advantage. That was a thing that I pointed out in his previous game. When a really talented young stud pitcher like this hasn't been seen before by the opposing hitters, that's an extra advantage to the pitcher because the hitters, I mean, yeah, you can watch game film on him, but that's not as good as facing him in a real game environment. Like, you have to actually go out there and actually face him live. It's a completely different thing. So hitters could struggle to get up to speed facing some of these pitchers when they first see him. So I think that's good as well. And the other good thing is that Toronto's manager is not an idiot, right? Like, they're trying to win the World Series here. So even though Savage had a no-hitter going, and, you know, I'm still old school. I'm like, leave him in, man. Let him go with the no-hitter. But I understand this approach because they didn't want to burn him out. I mean, he's still only 22 years old. He didn't look happy when they gave him the plug there. They pulled him in the middle of the 6th inning there with nobody on base. But I think he understood. I think everybody understood. Like, crowd gave him a standing ovation, whatever. He only threw 78 pitches. He was actually really efficient in that game too, and that's good because that means he's not overworked coming into this start. And he's really fresh too because, I mean, yeah, he pitched in the minors this year, but he's only made still 4 major league starts, so he's certainly not overworked at all. So he should be coming into this game fresh. and basically at his best, I would imagine, other than the fact that it could be maybe a little bit of a letdown. So we'll go with Toronto money line in the first 5 in that game. Hopefully we get that one done. It's possible Savage has a letdown, but I think he's so good, and I think this sets up really nicely for him with the fact that Seattle's never seen him before, so I still like it. I mean, I could see that game going over as well, but if we look at what the market is doing, we're actually fading the market read on Toronto here, and I just don't even give a shit. They're up for minus 118 and minus 122, 74% of tickets, only 61% of the cash on them. So the money is actually disagreeing with Toronto and coming in against them. I'm just going to stick with my handicap, man. Like, I do factor in the market read usually very heavily, but I will occasionally fade it. Like yesterday, I was right about the Raiders. I didn't play it. I wish I had them in Survivor, but I was at least correct about that. Going against the market read on that one. The under is getting traction in this one, by the way. It's down from 8 to 7.5. 53% of tickets, 97% of the cash on the under. I mean, I don't know how much we can trust the way that these bullpens set up in this game, though, especially with Gilbert maybe not being in the game for that long. Savage, they might kind of give him the hook around, 5-6 innings again in this one, depending on what he's doing. Unless he does bad, and then he's out of the game earlier than that. And then you get Toronto's bullpen that's pretty mediocre and kind of used. Seattle's bullpen is pretty good, but they did use their best relief pitchers yesterday. So, yeah, I mean, I actually probably do slightly lean to an over in that game as well, even though the market is saying no. I don't like going against the money either, but I'm going to do it in that game. Although that market, those market numbers are for the full game. We're going first 5, but whatever. And then we're going to have the NLCS Game 1 beginning with Dodgers-Milwaukee. Milwaukee is staying at home for this, and the Dodgers have to travel in, but the Dodgers have had like 4 days off since they beat the Phillies. Although the public are probably going to be back on the Dodger train, I would think, even though Milwaukee had the best record in baseball. I think the public is going to give the Dodgers more credit for what they did to the Phillies, like beating the Phillies 3-1 or whatever. I think that looks way better because the public was on the Phillies to win the whole thing. So I think they're going to give the Dodgers more credit. And that was a road series for the Dodgers, too. They're going to give them more credit for that than they give Milwaukee for going 5 games, I think, with the Cubs. And Milwaukee was playing a lot of low-scoring games. The Dodgers were not. So I think the public is probably going to be back on the Dodgers here. But if they're going to be doing that in this game, they might actually be correct. I know the Dodgers are not terrific on the road. They were only 41-40 on the road. Milwaukee really good at home, 52-29 at home. Although Milwaukee was actually really good on the road too. Best road team in baseball was Milwaukee. But the way that this game sets up, I think it does benefit LA a bit. The starting pitching matchup, I think, is definitely a benefit to LA. Milwaukee has the better bullpen though. So something to keep in mind. Milwaukee did at least have yesterday off, so their bullpen is basically rested here. The Dodgers bullpen is, of course, more rested than that, but the Dodgers bullpen is pretty questionable. The Dodgers have the worst bullpen left out of the 4 teams remaining, so just a little bit of something to keep in mind there. Although I have the Dodgers winning this series in my bracket. I have Seattle over the Dodgers in the World Series, but Seattle is going to need Woo back if they're going to make, if they're going to have a reasonable shot at doing that. In this series, though, the Dodgers, man, the way that their rotation set up for the playoffs, really, really strong for the Dodgers. And it starts right here with Blake Snell getting the call in Game 1 here. And Snell is fresh, too. So the Dodgers, they kind of just coasted through a huge chunk of the season, and they were missing some of their starters. They get, these best starters like Snell and Glasnow. They get them back. And not only does it mean they have them there for the playoffs, but it also means that they're not overworked because they were injured during the season, so they didn't throw too many innings either. So it sets up, it's almost like the Dodgers did it intentionally. Hey, get hurt, guys, and then we'll bring you back later in the series. Snell has been good though. 2.35 ERA, 1.26 WHIP on the season. Not as good on the road though. 4.3 road ERA. But he's been good in the playoffs. He's made 2 playoff appearances so far. 13 innings total. Only allowed 5 hits, 2 earned runs. 18-5 strikeout walk ratio. He did walk 4 guys last outing against Philly, but that's kind of what Snell does. He is very, very difficult to hit, and he's a little bit too wild. So, I mean, to me, it looks like Snell is in form to me, and that was still a one-hit performance against Philly when he did that, so whatever. I mean, Snell is pretty much in full form right now as far as I can tell. I think he should do well again here, and his numbers against the Brewers are good in his career, although not a huge sample of 33 at-bats, but 14 strikeouts is a ton, 5 walks, 4 of them are Jansen. 152 batting average allowed and 475 OPS allowed. So Snell does do really well against the Brewers. So I was looking at this and I was thinking maybe actually giving out a play on the Dodgers action here, which means that your bet is going to count regardless of who starts in the game, because Milwaukee is undecided. But if you look at what's going on here, Milwaukee has Freddie Peralta listed as the starter tomorrow. And you know who Milwaukee used out of the bullpen a couple of days ago. They used like Misiorowski, and Woodruff is hurt. So, I mean, I think you can pretty much guess what Milwaukee is going to do in this game based on all that. And I'm pretty sure it's going to be Quinn Priester in this game because he hasn't pitched for like 4 days. So I'm almost positive that Quinn Priester is going to be the starter here. He might be an opener as well. So for Priester, and if that's the case, I actually think that Milwaukee has a better chance in this game, even though I know I faded Priester in his last outing and he was terrible. Priester was good generally, 3.32 ERA, 1.24 whip on the season. Although, again, I think he overperformed, but of course, he had that one really crazy stretch where Milwaukee won like 19 of his 20 appearances or something like that. 19 appearances in a row, actually, I think. He was not as good at home, though, 3.82 home ERA. Of course, that one outing he had in the playoffs was terrible. I think it might have been his first playoff appearance, too. I had the Cubs in that outing, and the Cubs in that game. I gave out the Cubs on my show. They still won, but, man, the Cubs had 4 runs in the first inning off Priester, and then they never scored again. Priester gave up the 4 runs, only lasted 2 1/3 innings. He was terrible. 3 hits, 2 walks, 1 strikeout. I expect if he does pitch here, I do expect him to do better than that, though, here. Going up against the Dodgers, he actually has good numbers in his career against the Dodgers. It's a small sample of 20 at-bats, but they only have 1 extra base hit off him, a double from Freeman, 10 strikeouts, 1 walk, 150 average allowed, and 390 OPS. So surprisingly, Priester actually really good against the Dodgers in the past, although now that they've seen him before, maybe they'll hit him a little bit better. I would still lean to the Dodgers, but I have my hesitations on that if it is going to be Priester, so I'm gonna just stay away from it. Dodgers are up from -140 to -146 as a road favorite here, so you're not really getting much of a bargain on the Dodgers, although with the fact that Milwaukee had the best record in baseball, it's kind of crazy to see them as a home underdog here. So maybe that will help split the action a little bit more, but I still expect the public will be on the Dodgers as well because of recency bias. Totals at 7.5, not really moving. I mean, I can see some arguments for an under in this one, even if it is Snell against Priester. I mean, you can kind of see that maybe they won't give up too many runs here, and the bullpens at least are rested, and Milwaukee's is fairly good. And maybe actually, Milwaukee actually might have the best bullpen left out of these 4 teams, especially because McGill is back. We will see what happens. I'm not going to give out a play on that one, though. Is there value in Milwaukee on the series at +172? That is a really hefty underdog price, man, for a home team that had the best record in baseball. Maybe. I mean, I think you are paying a tax for the Dodgers, but of course, I do think the Dodgers are going to win the series, though. I have them in my bracket. I think the Dodgers are the best team in baseball, and except for their bullpen. But, I mean, they can kind of overcome that with how good their offense is and how good their starting rotation currently is, because I think they have the best starting rotation right now. But, yeah, I mean, the fact that the Dodgers are favored by that much and they had a worse record on the season than Milwaukee and they're the road team in the series, almost like what I said with this game, that kind of actually tells you something. The odds makers are basically telling you that they think the Dodgers are going to win the series. But, I mean, I do think the price is probably a little bit too high. Would I take the shot on the Brewers, though? I don't think so. I mean, I think the Dodgers are going to win this series. So, I don't know. I don't know if that answers the question well enough. Roberts got cute with the pitching against the Phillies. What do you mean exactly? I didn't really see what they did, but they've had so many days off now, it doesn't even really matter. Dave Roberts, right? Former Red Sox player, former Dodger player, and Dodgers manager now is who you're talking about, I assume. Always remember Dave Roberts for that stolen base, the infamous stolen base in the 2004 ALCS, man, helping the Red Sox come back from 0-3 and beat the Yankees in the best series in history in any sport. Absolutely crazy. Yeah, had that excellent, crucial stolen base there. They pinch ran him. And the thing about that was everybody knew he was going to steal second, or at least attempt to steal second, and the Yankees still couldn't stop him from doing it. That was wild. It was close. They almost got him, but they did not. All right, let's go to hockey. I'm going to give out 2 plays here. I'm going to try to be a little bit selective here in hockey. We do have afternoon hockey, like you said, on Columbus Day. You get afternoon hockey, starting with Colorado and Buffalo. I'm going to try to not talk about every one of these games, but most of the hockey teams are playing today. I do think generally Colorado is in a letdown spot here. They just took their first loss of the season, unfortunately, because we had Colorado on my show in that one. They lost in a shootout to Dallas, and that was a playoff revenge scenario for Colorado as well against a good Dallas team. Now they have to go out on the road, which in a way might be better because you kind of get to forget about that and just go out on the road. So sometimes when a team starts a road trip, it is a focus spot for them, but I think they might be hung over after that. It could be a hangover spot after that huge game. I would be considering Buffalo more if Colorado had a bigger game up next, but they don't really. They face Columbus next, but I do think generally it is a hangover spot. So I would be leaning to Buffalo in this game. You're getting a huge price with Buffalo, a huge underdog if you really want it. Buffalo has not looked good so far, losing by a combined 7-1 to the 2 disappointments last year, the Rangers and the Bruins. I don't think the Bruins are good, which I'm going to talk about in a minute. I think they're better than people said they were going to be coming into the season, but I don't think they're actually good. I do think the Rangers are good, but Buffalo, not very good. Still, it looks like a spot where maybe you could take the shot with Buffalo. I mean, the price has gotten out of control. It's up from -140 to -175 on Colorado, but some of that move might have been because of goaltending changes and like who we expect the goalies to be, although even that I don't think should affect the line that much. 89% of tickets, 97% of the cash coming in on Colorado. So they do have the cash, but they're a very public road favorite in a non-advantageous spot. So if I was going to play it, I would probably take the shot with Buffalo. You're taking the chalk in the NLDS or with the Avs? I wouldn't lay the price with the Avs in that game. Tampa and Bruins is going to be one of my plays, so I'll hold off on that. We'll talk about Winnipeg and the Islanders here. Winnipeg is coming off a big win as well against the LA Kings, and starting a road trip, though, but having to travel over to the east to do it for the first time this year. So sometimes, usually starting a road trip, generally I would say it is a focus spot. But just like I said with Colorado, when you're coming off a big game, it makes it a little bit more difficult to do it. Like, that was a pretty big win over the Kings. The Kings, pretty solid team. Winnipeg has actually played 2 big games already against Dallas and LA. And, of course, we lost with Winnipeg as well. We keep losing, fading Dallas, so isn't that just great? Now, yeah, they get a chance to get out of there, go on the road. Maybe a good thing, but first time traveling all the way to the east, the first trip on the season, I think makes that trip a little bit more difficult in my opinion. And coming off a couple of big games, I don't think it's a great spot for Winnipeg. And the Islanders, you know they're going to be pissed right now. I think the Islanders are better than their 0-2 record looks. I think they're a potential playoff team or playoff caliber team this year. They've lost both games already, although you can't really blame them for losing to a good Washington team. I am going to blame them for blowing the game against Pittsburgh, where they probably should have won that game. They outplayed Pittsburgh in that game. That was a loser for us on the show. But yeah, I think Islanders being back at home, I do think they're going to be a bit angry coming into this one. So that would be my slight lean in that one. The money is disagreeing with me, though. The money's coming in on Winnipeg, up from -103 to -120 with 59% of the cash on them. 62% of tickets on the Islanders. Makes no sense to me that the Islanders would be public here, although you're looking at hockey like in the morning here. A lot of the ticket percentage is actually professional bets in hockey because the public doesn't bet hockey as significantly. Although in a day where it's a holiday and there are all these afternoon games, the public will come in a little bit more because, the public, if they're off today and they want to bet something, they only have hockey to bet during the day until the night. So they will probably bet some of these games. But yeah, so all that to take into account. The market read is still indicating on Winnipeg, though. But I somewhat disagree with it. But certainly not going to be a play. Buffalo, you're going to lay it with the Avs? Or you're taking Buffalo as a home underdog, you mean? So you're going against the chalk. Yeah, I mean, you could take a shot with Buffalo. I mean, it pays out pretty well. You're getting a huge price on them, and I think it's a bad spot for Colorado, but I don't know, man. Detroit at Toronto. We won with Detroit against Toronto. Last time out, it was a 6-3 win, although a little bit of a misleading result. Not that they won, but the way that they won 6-1. Detroit did outshoot Toronto in the game, so they were the better offensive team in the game. Toronto did out-hit them, which is kind of weird because I always think of Toronto as more of a finesse team and less of a physical team, but they out-physicaled Detroit in this game. Detroit did win the face-off battle. Detroit had the lead late in the game anyway, but they got 2 empty net goals at the end, which made the final score look really ridiculous. Still, I think it was definitely worth the shot as the underdog there. Detroit flipped the 2-0 deficit into a 3-1, a 3-2 lead with Patrick Kane, the guy who assaults cabbies and is still playing in the NHL for some reason. These old Chicago Blackhawks players, I don't even know where they are now. Kane is apparently with Detroit, and I saw Taves. Taves is on the Winnipeg Jets now, I think, and he just came back. I was like, Taves is still playing? I don't even know, man. But yeah, Detroit still got the win for us. They were the right play as the underdog in that one. I think we had that one right. But the way that they won looks a little bit more ridiculous than it was. Now Toronto gets a chance at revenge back in Toronto. It's a short trip going from Detroit to Toronto, but it is a quick revenge spot. So I would somewhat lean to Toronto in this one. Toronto is the better team. You're not really getting a cheap price, though. They're up from -165 to -173. 66% of tickets, 76% of the cash on Toronto. So they are getting the cash percentage as well. I would lean that way because they were better in that game than the final score looked. I think I would prefer doing something like that if they were the road team, actually, because I like the road reversal revenge spot better when a team lost at home and then they play that team immediately again on the road. I think I think you get the biggest edge in that scenario. But I would still lean to Toronto in this one. If you're going to do it, I would do one of those things where you make your own -1 puck line or whatever and put some amount of the bet on the puck line and the other amount on the money line to get the price down a little bit. So, yeah. Kane is a rapist. He might be. I don't know. Yeah, surprisingly, it's him and not Evander Kane, by the way. Evander Kane is still out there somewhere, too. But, yeah, Patrick Kane, never a fan of that guy. What else we got here? Florida at Philadelphia. Did I see any sort of angle on this? I don't know if I did. Florida's 3-0 to start the season. They're coming off a pretty significant win over Ottawa last time out. So, I don't know, maybe something to consider. They could be in maybe a slight letdown spot. It is their first road game of the season, so maybe the spot isn't great for Florida here. And it is Philadelphia's home opener. And it's a revenge spot because Philadelphia did lose on the road to Florida. Florida actually, I think, outplayed them maybe more than what the final looked like. Let me see. I forget if I dug into this box score. Yeah, they did. Florida had a lot more hits and a lot more shots. So Florida really, their first 2 games, they completely outplayed Chicago and Philadelphia statistically, but barely won the game. So I don't know. Maybe Florida will take Philadelphia a little bit more seriously because the game was close, but Florida did dominate them more than it looked like on the scoreboard. So those are kind of indicators that maybe Florida would be a way to look in this game, but I'm not sure, man. I mean, I do think it's a little bit of a revenge spot for the Flyers, and it is their home opener, so I do expect motivation from Philly here. The money's coming in on Florida significantly, though, up from -123 to -153. 66% of cash on them, 57% of tickets on Philly, which, again, doesn't make any sense. The public would be on an 0-2 Philly team. So I don't really get these ticket percentages right now. The money is saying Florida. I mean, I might slightly disagree, but I'm not gonna give a play on that. Nothing is a lock, sir. They got robbed against Carolina, but that's kind of the problem that I have with the spot that the Flyers are in, because Carolina's a really good team and they almost beat Carolina, so that could kind of put them in like a hangover spot here. So I don't know. They're going to honor Bernie parents. All right. I don't know too much about like who some of these guys are, man, but yeah, so it is going to be a big, probably like emotional game for Philly. So yeah, I mean, I would slightly lean to Philadelphia in the game, but I have some hesitations with that one for sure. I haven't mentioned any of the starting goalies here, by the way, because generally all the starting goalies are playing here. I think you're going to get the number one goalie for pretty much every team today, because nobody played yesterday except for Washington and the Rangers, by the way. And Washington won that game, but those teams are both off today. So I think because those teams both played 2 days in a row, so they get it off today. New Jersey, Columbus is going to be my other play today. Don't know if I have too much of an angle otherwise on any of these games. Kings are playing Minnesota, which is kind of an interesting setup here. The Kings have had a really difficult schedule to start the season. They're 1-2, but it's partially because they played 2 road games, though they actually won one of them against Vegas. They lost to Colorado and Winnipeg. I mean, they played all good teams so far. It's a third straight road game, but that means less in hockey when it's a road trip. I mean, you're used to playing a road trip, although, yeah, a team can kind of get fatigued towards the end of a road trip, but they're only going from Winnipeg to Minnesota here, which isn't a huge travel leg here with 1 day off. Still kind of a difficult setup anyway, though, it looks like to me for the Kings. Minnesota, just like last year, though, I don't think Minnesota is as good as people think they are, because they're a team that just kind of scores a lot of goals, but they're not really as good as they look. They did just lose 7-4 to Columbus, so they might be a little bit pissed, and they're staying at home. So the spot does look a little bit better for Minnesota to me. And, you know, still trying to get their first home win here, at least, as well. So I think it does set up a little bit better, although the Kings will be stepping down in class here, though they face 3 teams already that are better than Minnesota, although Minnesota's not a bad team. The public is on Minnesota, though. 87% of tickets, only 80% of the cash. Minnesota seems to just be a public side just because they have offense. They're up from -109 to -120 on the money line. So I don't know, man. The money line moved on Minnesota, but now it looks like the actual money's coming back against them. So it looks like LA is getting the actual professional money there. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to have anything to do with that, but let's go to we'll go to the best bet segment now, and then I'll finish talking about the Monday night games, the football games, I mean, and then we'll be done. Didn't have the breakdown graphic today, but whatever. So I already gave out the play on Toronto Blue Jays first 5. Hockey, we're going to have 2 plays. The first one, we're going to go against my Boston Bruins, and we're going to go with the Tampa Bay Lightning. And we are getting some lightning here right now, by the way. So very appropriate that the Lightning are coming to town into Boston, and we're in the middle of a nor'easter here right now, which I don't know if that's going to affect Tampa's travel or not here. But I'm going to go with Tampa anyway. Tampa's used to this type of weather in Florida. I mean, this is just crazy. We're getting all this rain and wind out here right now. Crazy storm out there right now. But Tampa's up from -134 to -158 now on the money line. 70% of tickets, 75% of the cash. I didn't see a money line cheaper than -164 when I looked, by the way. So unfortunately, we could have gotten a better price on Tampa earlier and just played the money line. But now I'm going to recommend basically doing a half and half on this one, to split half the bet on the -1.5 puck line and the other half on the money line, because that comes out to, you're paying about the same that you would on like a normal bet size if you split it about half and half. If you want to use that calculator that I showed you, you can do that too to make the exact -1 puck line. But either way, I think it's fine. We're going to go with Tampa here. And of course, kind of ridiculous to need a road team in hockey to win by 2 goals to collect on the smaller portion of the bet. That's going to be the smaller portion of the bet, though. So the way that you do this, if they win the game by even 1 goal, you're still going to win some money on it. So I think it's all right to do it that way. But I think this is a very, very misleading setup here. When you look at these teams' records, the public is still not even buying it, though. The public is on Tampa Bay, but look at these teams' records, man. Tampa's 0-2. The Bruins are 3-0. They're undefeated at home, 2-0 at home. Yet Tampa is this very substantial road favorite. So what gives? Well, the odds makers are telling you not to believe these early season records here. And they're telling you Tampa is still the way better of these 2 teams. and I agree. As a Bruins fan, I mean, I'm not holding my breath as far as what the Bruins are going to do this year. I mean, I do think they're better than people expected them to be. I think they're going to be better than people expected them to be this year, but I don't think they're exactly good. Now, Tampa hasn't won a game yet, so it might actually be good for them to just leave home and go on the road. They've lost both games, but to decent teams, Ottawa and New Jersey, and they were both somewhat close games, too, so it's not exactly like Tampa's playing poorly, although Vasilevsky hasn't exactly been great in net so far, but he seems to just start slow sometimes. I don't know, man. It will be Vasilevsky against Swayman in this one. I do think Swayman is the better goalie of the two, but they're both pretty good goalies. I just think Tampa's going to be able to outplay the Bruins in this game. I think Tampa just has a deeper roster. I think they have the better gameplay, the better offense. The Bruins, yeah, they're 3-0, but 2 of their wins are an overtime win against Chicago, although the Bruins did outplay them more than what that overtime than what the fact they won in overtime would tell you. Like, it was a close game on the scoreboard, but the Bruins did outplay them. And then the Bruins' most recent win was against Buffalo. I mean, Buffalo's not good. So the Bruins, their only good win so far was at Washington, and maybe that was a little bit of a fluke, although Swayman played really well in that game. Swayman is off to a really good start, but I mean, you can't be up every single game, man. So at some point, he's going to have some down games, even though I do think he's really good. I think he's one of the top goalies in all of hockey. But I just think this setup is not good. Tampa's hungry for their first win. I think going on the road will be good for them. Just forget about what the hell's going on at home. Bruins look better than they actually are right now. So we're going to go with the Lightning in that one. It's one of those early season setups where the records can be completely misleading. So that's what we're going to do in that one. A dog day afternoon. Yeah, that game is in the afternoon as well. I'm going to have one night game as well. The Tampa Bruins. You like Tampa as well. You love Tampa. Do you like it or do you love it? As John Gruden would say. And then finally, we're going to go, this one is going to be harder to swallow. I mean, people will be able to swallow. That doesn't sound good. That's what she said. People are going to be able to swallow the Tampa one probably. The other one, maybe not so much. We're going to go with the Columbus BJs, the Blue Jackets, the Blue Jobs at plus 115, getting a decent home underdog price on this one. It's going to be a fade of the Devils. Nobody messes with the Devils, except I'm going to mess with them here. I do think the Devils are the better team. Obviously, the odds makers are telling you this, but I don't like the setup for the Devils here. I don't like the spot. They're up from minus 126 to minus 130, 86% of tickets, 64% of the cash. So we are going to fade the public in this one, and the money is saying to do so. The money's coming back on the Columbus side. I think we're getting a pretty solid price on this. You're going to get both starting goalies in this one. It's going to be Markstrom against Elvis, who I can never pronounce his last name. I don't think he's a very good goalie, but Columbus just plays all these high-scoring games, man, so it's probably going to be another one of those, but I'm expecting Columbus to be able to get this done, even though I think Markstrom is probably the better goalie over Elvis Merzlikins, however you pronounce his name. Sounds such a terrible name, man. He's Merzlikin good. We're going with KFC here. CFG, the Columbus Fried goalie. Maybe he'll be high playing this game. I don't know. But the spot for New Jersey, I think, is bad. I think this is a sandwich spot. The first time this year that we get a legitimate sandwich spot. They started out the season playing Carolina and Tampa Bay, both on the road. Huge games, man. Those are both really good teams. They actually beat Tampa Bay last time out as an underdog, so they pulled off a nice upset in that one. And Markstrom played both games, too. So the Devils are playing every other day, 3 games on the road, all different cities. Now they're having to go up from the southeast all the way up to Columbus. Markstrom not getting a day off, although maybe they'll decide, because I don't think they've decided on him yet. So maybe it's possible. Yeah, it's unconfirmed, but I think he will play. I don't know what these numbers next to the goalies mean, by the way. I think that's the percentage. That might be the percentage. What the hell am I? The confidence level that they have that goalie is actually going to start. I think so. I don't know. So it actually could be the backup for Columbus in this one too. But I don't think either of Columbus's goalies are good, so I don't think it really matters which goalie Columbus has out there, which is something I talked about last year. I played Columbus as an underdog a decent amount last year, and they did okay for us. But yeah, I don't like the spot. And then to make it a sandwich spot, of course, who does New Jersey have next? Oh yeah, they have to play Florida, the Stanley Cup champions the last 2 years, and they have to play Edmonton after that, the Stanley Cup runner-up the last 2 years. So this game is surrounded by much, much bigger games. So I think it's a bad setup here. And for Columbus, it's their home opener. So I think Columbus is going to be up for this game, man. It's going to be a little bit crazy. Columbus started off the season, bad performance against Nashville. Nashville, not a very good team. Columbus was actually getting the professional money in that game, and they lost. But they turned it around and won in a nice win against Minnesota. But the public, I think, still doesn't want anything to do with Columbus here. Even though they just beat Minnesota with 7 goals against them, the public is still just taking New Jersey right now. I think the public is looking at how New Jersey's had the more difficult schedule so far. And while that is true, I think that's going to hamper them in this game, even though they're stepping down in class to face Columbus. I think it's a spot where they may overlook Columbus, and Columbus is going to give you a good performance in this one. I think the fact that they got the win, I don't think it's going to be a letdown spot. The fact they had a nice underdog road win there, I think it's going to be more the case that Columbus is going to have momentum here. And yes, I know they're returning home from a road trip, but it's not a long road trip. It's the first road trip of the season. So I don't think it counts, because during the season, of course, I always talk about returning home from a road trip is a bad spot. Players get distracted because they have to return to home life. But when you start the season on the road and you only have 2 road games, then you come back home, you haven't been away from home that long, and this is your home opener against a good team, man. You're going to show up focused. So we'll go with Columbus in that one. And those are the plays for the day, man. The Buffalo Wild Wings waitress, win both of your plays, and then maybe you'll get a blowjob. I gave my number to a Buffalo Wild Wings waitress once, and she never called me, man. What the fuck? She was definitely flirting with me. Maybe she was flirting with both me and my friend. I don't know. But, my friend is married, though, so I'm like, sorry, lady. It's going to be me if you're going to have to pick one of us. There is no choice. But no, I don't know. I think she liked me, and that was not the same time that I had the numb cock after the Blazing Wings. It was a different time where I also did the Blazing Wings challenge, because I basically just do it every time I go. I can't even actually do it within the time limit anymore, man. I think they just made it hotter and hotter. It's just ridiculous now. You have to eat 12 wings in 6 minutes. It's just a little bit crazy time limit. I could definitely eat 12 in probably about 20 minutes, but doing it in 6 minutes is just crazy at this point. I did it in the past. I was able to do it, and I swear it was not as hot back when I did it, a decade ago or something. Hand jobs with the blazing sauce. Well, that's not good, because then neither of you will feel it. So what's that? That's like the double stranger. It's like you're watching a chick give a dude a hand job. Who wants that? Who watches a hand job? I don't know. Maybe sometimes it could be hot. I don't know. Let's go to the NFL. All right. Let's go to the NFL here. We have 2 Monday night games, which I hate. Again, I think that it's bad, because I think one of the things about Monday night is it's like a premier game, and only 2 teams a week get to play in that Monday night game, and it's a big deal. So the fact that you have 2 now makes it less of a big deal. So I fucking hate that shit. It makes it kind of weird to handicap it, because it's like, do you have to handicap it still as, yes, this is this huge Monday night game, and the home team's going to be really excited for it? Maybe it doesn't change the handicap that much, but I don't know, man. The first game up at 7:15 p.m. because, of course, these 2 games are competing with each other, too. And my guess is that the first game is going to be the one that people are going to watch. Buffalo and Atlanta. I don't think people are going to watch Chicago, Washington, man. I'm sorry. Even though it's 2 rookie QBs. At least these are better than last week. When last week we had, I think last week was Jets and Dolphins. And was that last week? No, that was 2 weeks ago. It was Jets, Dolphins, and then we had Cincinnati with no Joe Burrow against Denver. That was a horrific Monday night lineup, man. Last week, I forget what the games were. Or maybe there was only one last week. I don't even remember. Buffalo, Atlanta is actually at least a good game. The public is coming in on Buffalo. I think the public is just not dissuaded by the fact that Buffalo lost a game. They're still 4-1. The public is looking at what New England's doing right now, thinking New England is good. So they're not going to dock Buffalo for that loss very much. They're going to expect Buffalo to bounce back as a 4-1 team against a 2-2 Falcon team. Bills, 80% of tickets, only 78% of the cash. But so the Bills are public, less of the money on them, and the spread is moving against them, down from 5. It's gone through the 4, now to 3.5. So if you like the Falcons, you can still take the 3.5. I think that's where the cutoff would be there. You want to at least get that key number, 3.5, get the hook on that. Probably you could still get a 4 out there if you like the Falcons, and I would lean that way. I lean to the Falcons in this one. It's a fairly high total at 50, but the money's kind of coming in on the under. 81% of tickets, only 67% of the cash on the over. I wouldn't want to risk it on an under in this game, though. I mean, I don't really know how much we could trust either defense. I think Atlanta does have the better defense, though, so I think you're getting the better defense getting points with the Falcons. Buffalo, I think the spot is a little bit weird because they are coming off that loss. It was their first loss of the season, and I think people are kind of considering that to be a big game at this point, so it's a little bit tricky, and now they have to go on the road. And as I pointed out on my NFL show, this is the first time Buffalo is leaving the state of New York. They've only played one road game this season. It was at the Jets. So this is a difficult spot for Buffalo, man, coming up that big Sunday night game. First loss of the season can sometimes also hang you over because you're not really used to it. They're not used to this travel spot. I'm almost talking myself into a play on Atlanta, man. I don't think I quite want to do it, but Atlanta also has some advantages here as well because they're, even though Buffalo, before I get Buffalo off, Buffalo is also coming up. They are coming off a game where they lost as a big favorite, though. So that's one thing that might actually keep Buffalo focused is the fact that they were an 8-point favorite in that game. They basically don't lose at home. So everybody expected Buffalo to win that game, and they got upset. So that could focus Buffalo coming into this game. So that's kind of the one hesitation that I really have with fading Buffalo here. Well, maybe there are two. Atlanta's coming out of a bye, so Atlanta does have an extra week to prepare for this, which is good for them. But they went into the bye on a good note. They beat Washington. They beat Jaden Daniels. So I talk about that. When a team goes into the bye on a good note, sometimes the bye does not help you as much because it's like, well, you don't have anything to fix because you were really good going into the bye. So I could see that going either way, but they do have an extra week worth of rest over Buffalo, and Buffalo has a little bit less because they had to play Sunday night last week, although, of course, they do at least get the day because they get to play on Monday this time instead of Sunday. But, yeah, Atlanta obviously has more rest here. I think it will be more of an advantage than a disadvantage for Atlanta in this one. Penix is probably going to be pumped up for this because this is his first Monday night game. And he played pretty well against Washington that last time, although I know Penix hasn't really been good on the road so far, but this is a home game tonight. He's been good at home. So Penix is good at home. He's played a primetime game before because I remember losing a bet on it with Atlanta last year against Washington, +4, and it went into overtime, and they didn't cover. That was great. So Penix, I don't think he's going to be thrown off by the spotlight of it being Monday night. I mean, he played Sunday night this year, too, against Minnesota in the college football championship rematch against J.J. McCarthy. So he didn't do great in the game, but the team won. The team had a dominant performance in the game. They ran the ball a lot, so it was still a good game for them. And that's the other thing. Penix doesn't have to shoulder the load here because Atlanta has one of the best running backs in football with Bijan Robinson. So they can use him, man, and they can use him to keep Buffalo's offense off the field, too. So these teams that can run the football a lot can give Buffalo some problems because they can extend possessions and drives, and they can kind of keep the football away from Buffalo. So I think Atlanta will be able to do that here. Atlanta's got a talented offense, man. So they could actually even probably somewhat be able to score with Buffalo, too. I mean, I'm not saying they want this to be a shootout. I don't think they do. But they can at least, I think, kind of keep pace with Buffalo for all those reasons combined. So I think Atlanta's the right side in that game, plus the points. That would be the only way I would play that game. I think it's the strongest way to look at the NFL board tonight. And then the last game is Bears and Redskins at 8:15 p.m. on ABC, 8:15 Eastern. The Redskins are the public side, 65% of tickets, only 62% of the cash on them. They're up from a 5-point favorite to a 5.5-point favorite. I think the line was at 4.5 at one point during the week, but now it's moved up a little bit. I would lean to the Bears in this game, though. Washington coming off kind of a misleading result where they beat the Chargers. If you saw what happened in this game, the Chargers were up 10-0, and then the Chargers were about to go in to make it 17-0, and they fumbled the football. I think it was a fumble deep in Washington territory, and then the Chargers never scored again, and that play completely shifted the momentum of the game. So I don't know about this win for I thought the Chargers were going to win this game. Yeah, Washington did wind up outgaining them, but that turnover really kind of flipped the game on its head, so I don't know. So Washington's coming off of that. They're coming off a pretty good performance. They do have Dallas up next, which is a big game. They have to play Dallas on Sunday. So that's a big divisional game. And Dallas is not playing horribly, although I know they lost to the Panthers yesterday. But Washington does have that, and then they have Kansas City up after this. 4 road games, though. This is their only home game in a stretch of 4 road games. So sometimes you do focus when it's your only home game because it's like you got to get this one. But I think it could be a look-ahead spot to Dallas, man. So I don't exactly love Washington in this spot here. And it is revenge for Chicago because everybody kind of remembers this is the Williams versus Daniels battle. The 2 quarterbacks were the highly drafted quarterbacks last year. And Jaden Daniels is 1-0 in the Daniels versus Williams series. And it was because of a game-winning Hail Mary, which I was happy about because that was a play that I gave out on the show with Washington. We got the win on that one. Washington was winning the game for most of it, and then they fell behind late, and they had to win with a Hail Mary. And the reason why they won was because Chicago, it was at Washington, I'm pretty sure. I talked about this on my NFL show. Chicago's defender was taunting the crowd and didn't pay attention to the play because he thought the game was over. Like, there's no way they're going to complete a 50-yard Hail Mary here. And that's exactly what they did. Catching that defender, catching him taunting the crowd. It's also stupid for him to be taunting because the refs could throw a flag on that for him taunting too. So it's even more stupid. But yeah, so Jaden Daniels had the ridiculous game-winning Hail Mary. I do think Chicago will remember that. That was a memorable game. So I think Williams and Chicago, they will want to even the score here. So I do think there is a little bit extra motivation for Chicago here. And Chicago's coming out of a bye, so they did have the week off to prepare for this. My only issue is that they did win 2 straight games going into the bye, so they went into the bye on a good note. So then it's like, well, what do you fix going into that bye? Maybe there is something to fix, though, because they actually played really badly in that game against the Raiders. The Raiders absolutely should have won that game. The Raiders had the lead all game. They outstatted the Bears in that game in pretty dominant fashion, to be honest. And then the Bears won on a blocked field goal at the end of the game. Just really, really ridiculous. So they shouldn't have won that game. So maybe that does mean they will work on some things during the bye. I do think they're going to be up for this game. They don't have a big game up next. They just play New Orleans. So I think the Bears do set up to be in the better spot here. The Bears have really not gotten their rushing attack going, though. Odunze has been really, really good for them, really crazy as a receiver for them. Williams, has him as a target. I still don't think Williams is that good. Obviously, I think Daniels is the better of these 2 quarterbacks, although I think Daniels is taking a little bit of a step back this year. I think he overperformed last year because the league didn't know what to expect out of this offense, and now that they know what the Washington offense is going to do, the league can kind of prepare for it more easily. This Chicago offense is actually a little bit more difficult to prepare for this year now because people don't know what they're really going to do, although we've seen what they're doing now 4 weeks in. But with Ben Johnson as the new head coach there, they've changed their schemes a bit. So they're doing some different things here now. So maybe a little bit harder to prepare for Chicago right now. Washington's defense is not exactly good. I think you could argue the Bears have the better defense here. I think they probably do, although I don't think either defense has been particularly good so far. The money is coming in on the under in this one, too. 69% of tickets on the over, 58% of cash on the under. Totals dropped from 50.5 to 49.5. Money seeming to come in on the under in this one, which does mean that the underdog is usually the way you want to look if it's going to be a little bit of a lower scoring game, although it's not really a low total at 49.5, but the money is kind of coming in on the under in that one. I could see people thinking this is going to be an over game. I mean, you got Williams versus Daniels. Maybe the public doesn't love Williams that much, but 2 teams that look like they could score, basically. Seems like it would be kind of an over, and maybe it actually won't being an over because I do think that you're going to see both teams establish the run, man. Washington's going to be running the football, I believe. I mean, Krosky Merritt there now. They've been doing pretty well running the football. The Bears haven't really been able to get the rushing attack going, but they might be able to do something against Washington because Washington's defense isn't very good. So we'll see what happens, man. Although the Bears do throw the ball more, so we will see. That's going to do it, man. Tell the waitress that I'm the married one. Yeah, maybe that was my mistake. I don't think I mentioned that my friend was married though. I don't think I said it at all. But that was what was like going through my mind. Like if she called my friend, like my friend is a solid dude. Like he's not gonna cheat on his wife. So like if she had called him or whatever, my friend would have turned her down. All right. That was it, man. So the best bets today, one more time, are Toronto Blue Jays in the first 5 innings on the money line. NHL, we got a split bet, half on the Tampa Bay Lightning, half on the puck line, half on the money line. And the Columbus BJs, the Blue Jackets, blow jackets, plus that's the blow jacket is the trench coat that you're naked under, and then you can open it up and get the blow job more easily. The blow job. Does Trump ever say that? I almost went into Trump mode to say, yeah, Stormy Daniels, she gives the best blow jobs that I've ever had. Tremendous blow jobs from Stormy Daniels, folks. I tried to pay her to keep quiet, but instead I just made her blow me instead, and that kept her quiet. You know what I'm saying. All right. Thank you, sir. Hopefully it was all right. Hopefully my show is at least somewhat funny. But yeah, that's going to do it, man. Learn to talk on Twitter. Learn to talk on Instagram. Bettor Off Dead here. I got to change the name of this fucking show, man. I got to think of a better name. Then I'm going to need graphics and shit for it. Bettor Off Dead. Like, subscribe to the channel, man. Tell people about it. Let's get this thing pumped up. Let's monetize this thing, man. And then you guys can super chat me with it because I do so many lives. People, it would be cool. Let's make it more interactive. People could super chat, ask me shit, whatever. We're on audio as well. Review and listen over on audio, and that helps me as well on Spotify and Apple. Covered in Uke is my Uke channel on YouTube. I have to get up my most recent one on YouTube still. Did the Lost Prophets cover just because I had to do it for the timing of it. But I'm going to be back to Halloween-themed music for the rest of the month. We'll do a few more October covers probably. Probably ones that I've already done before, though, but don't have up on the YouTube and whatever. I'll just redo some of them. And yeah, patreon.com/LearnToToad. You can get a Spotify feed, although it is lagging behind. I apologize, folks. I got to get more bonus content, figure out what to do with the Patreon, man. But it's patreon.com/LearnToToad, and the highest level you do get prioritized requests. I need to get subscriptions on Twitter, man. I'm like banned from it basically because I got rejected the first time, and now the submission just fails on an error every time. So if somebody has any connection at Twitter, see if they can figure out what's going on with that. Like it's a bug. It's some issue on their end. Like I should be allowed to get subscriptions. There are people way worse than I am on Twitter who get subscriptions. So I want to be able to do, like, I pay for Twitter. I should be able to use their monetization program. I mean, it's bullshit. And premium stopped responding to me. It's absolute fucking bullshit. Absolutely terrible. Like, you pay for a product and you get no fucking support. Anyway, that's going to do it. And if it was a free market, the free market would speak, but it's not really. The government has infiltrated Twitter, and like Twitter is the shitposting platform. That's the place where everybody is, so there's nothing you can really do about it. And you know that the government is in, I don't want to get this all political and get nuked from Twitter, but the government is definitely in like Elon's ear and stuff. We know this. Like Zuckerberg admitted that it was happening with Facebook during the COVID years and whatever. It's happening. The government is in the ears of all these people that run these huge social media platforms, telling them you have to do this way. You have to censor this speech and whatever. It's bullshit. That's going to do it. Learn to toad everywhere, whatever. Yeah, exactly. That's the only law. Death and taxes and Zog. Yeah, that's it. That's going to do it, man. Peace out. Let's not get this channel nuked or anything. Hopefully not, because I want to keep talking sports. Peace out for now. I'll be back tomorrow morning with whatever the hell's happening on Tuesday. It's probably a light card tomorrow, though. Actually, I think we have Tuesday football now. I think Maction is starting tomorrow, I'm pretty sure, because I saw last week, starting on Wednesday, it was like, today's the start of, like, months and months of, or like weeks at least of football where there's no day without football for the next like 50 days or something, or 40 something days, whatever it is. So I do think the Tuesday MACtion starts tomorrow. So we'll have some great MAC games to analyze tomorrow. Though once that stuff starts happening, I actually am able to like kind of isolate those games and look at them and focus on them more. So I tend to have more MAC plays during that stretch of time, but we'll see. That's going to do it. Peace.